Happening now, bad dog.
We keep hearing that it's going to fix the other poop problem in Falconer Park. I'm sorry, but the people that let their dog go to the bathroom at the park already aren't going to pay $35 to let them poop in a cage.
Pushback against a new dog park that's proposed in Falconer. And a local infant with a rare disease has passed away, plus helping the homeless.
We are hopeful to have those open before Thanksgiving.
An update on 2 emergency shelters coming to Jamestown.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, a proposed dog park is causing a stir in the village of Falconer, with mixed reaction for and against the project taking center stage at Monday's village board meeting. Our Julia Gress is taking a look at what's causing this pushback.
We keep hearing that it's going to fix the other poop problem in Falconer Park. I'm sorry, but the people that let their dog go to the bathroom at the park already aren't going to pay $35 to let them poop in a cage.
A new dog park could soon be coming to the village of Falconer, however, not without some pushback from locals.
What are you going to tell the youth of our village that go over there in the summer for that park program and use that area? Are you going to tell them that we found a better use for it? We'll put a dog park in, and we feel a dog park is more important than what you use it for in the summertime.
Talks to invest in this new amenity have been ongoing for months, with Falconer Rotary Club President Nina Gustafson leading the charge.
The village had been throwing around the idea of a dog park, and we had funds left over from some of our park projects, and we wanted to work with the village.
The park is jointly operated by the village and Rotary Club. For this build-out, no public dollars would be used, thanks to fundraising and a matching grant.
People walk their dogs in the park all the time. A lot of times you see people with their dogs off leash. This would encourage people to use the dog park, and people who use dog parks generally take care of their animals, and so we're encouraging people to do it the proper way and not have their animals run all over the park.
Those for the project hope the board would issue a final decision to either approve or scrap the idea on Monday. However, that was not the case.
We will review it between now and we're having another work session in early December before our December board meeting. There'll be no voting on that. That'll just be a work session. And the board will get together and talk once again about the dog park.
While Falconer Mayor Jim Jarzinski recognizes arguments on both sides, he acknowledges that the park could help draw folks from outside the area. However, many fear negative impacts outweigh the good, like an increase in dog feces that could be left behind. Local vet Mary Fales addressed that point.
As long as it's not crossing a waterway and it's actually physically not crossing it, there is a lot less issues, and that is a big issue the DEC has looked at.
Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Julia, thank you. 2 emergency homeless shelters are expected to open sometime next week here in Jamestown. In an update to City Council on Monday, Mayor Eddie Sundquist addressed the ever-growing issue of homelessness in our region. He told the council that a shelter at Joy Fellowship Free Methodist Church, which will house 7 to 8 beds, has been reserved for families and co-eds. Another shelter at the Gateway Center, which will hold 20 individuals, is also planned to open. Right now, the municipality is waiting for the go-ahead from the county and state to be able to complete and furnish the location. The mayor hopes that they will be able to house individuals before Thanksgiving next week.
Still questions to be answered, but those 2 shelters are starting to kind of communicate with each other and understand what is needed to get those up and running. We're hoping to get those before the snow flew, but we are hopeful to have those open before Thanksgiving. That's what we're aiming at, and that's when we think the state will approve everything by.
And would those be staffed 24 hours a day? I'm just thinking of the officers.
Now, once the shelters are in operation, Sundquist says that the resource will provide medical availability for those there to directly help individuals staying at the shelters. Well, response times at UPMC Chautauqua Hospital's emergency department are delayed due to a flood of RSV cases and other illnesses. The Falconer Fire Department issued this warning to the community about a long delay in care. Now, this doesn't mean incoming patients will be turned away, but rather be prioritized based on their severe medical emergency. RSV, or respiratory syncytial virus, is a common illness that occurs annually but arrived earlier than expected this year. That, mixed with flu, COVID-19, and short staffing is the primary cause here, with too many patients and not enough staff or beds to handle the volume. Those acute medical emergencies are asked to avoid the emergency department and rather visit your primary care provider or a local urgent care center. A 29-year-old Jamestown man is headed to prison after he was sentenced in connection with 2 violent felonies. The Chautauqua County District Attorney's Office announced the conviction and subsequent sentencing of Bless Grant, also known as Bam Bam. Back in April, Grant pled guilty to attempted criminal possession of a weapon. That's a Class C felony. And then in September, he also pled guilty to an assault charge after allegedly pistol whipping a person. During the same alleged crime, prosecutors said Grant pointed a handgun in a threatening manner towards another individual. Judge David Foley sentenced the defendant to 6 years in state prison, plus 5 years of post-release supervision for the first incident, and then 3 years in state prison, plus 5 years of post-release supervision in the second crime. These sentences, prosecutors say, will be served concurrently. Well, a program that aims to address zombie housing here in Jamestown by fixing them up and then selling them to first-time home buyers could soon finally come to fruition. Our Bronson Rasmussen joins us live in the newsroom today with the latest updates on this program. And Bronson, you've really followed this from its inception.
That's right, Justin. It's all part of a new effort launched by the Jamestown Department of Development, which will likely be officially funded by City Council later in the month. Lately, local lawmakers, and more specifically, those in the city's Finance Committee, have been weary about spending the remaining ARPA funding.
Still question.
In a compromise, the committee will likely approve $500,000 for the municipality's 19A program, aimed at purchasing dilapidated properties, fixing them up, and selling them to first-time homeowners. Originally, $750,000 was sought to kick the initiative off.
We'll take anything in between 750 and 500. We'll be happy with anything. We just want to get this off the ground, get the money so we can at least winterize these houses and do some interior work prior to the growing season next year. But I think the real difference is just kind of initial scope.
Once the programs get up and running and a few houses are brought up to code and sold, the project would expand from neighborhood to neighborhood. Councilwoman Marie Karuba feels that this is a good step forward.
We have to do something different, or we're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again and ending up with more and more homes. When I look at that demo list, it's heartbreaking to see all these properties that are going off the tax roll.
However, some, like Councilman Jeff Russell, are concerned about the project's sustainability.
It's all about selecting properties to pair with the ones that you're going to have to sink some money in and be more at the break even or maybe even a slight loss point, with ones that we can turn a significant profit on the back end, and using the funds for that to kind of sustain the program.
Lawmakers also discussed using the $250,000 not going towards the program to help fund the city's senior housing homing repair initiative. Alongside another $250,000, that program would be able to cover all eligible applicants. Council will vote on the program at this month's voting session on November 28th. Live in the newsroom, Bronson Rasmussen, WNY News Now.
Bronson, thank you very much. Well, now let's switch gears and get a first check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joining us from the Hunter Palatial Estate this afternoon. And Dakota, you're tracking a variety of things that really could bring the first big punch of snow to our area this week.
Oh, yes, Justin, we've got some snow on the way. First of all, the satellite and radar composite, not really showing you much, but we are starting to see some of those rain and snow showers starting to sneak into the region right now. Boy, it was cold yesterday. 33 was the high yesterday. We started the day at 29, 70, and 12 are the records. So as we take a look at the forecast through the rest of the afternoon, considerable cloudiness, still cold. We are going to see some wintry mixed showers developing later on this afternoon, but by right around sunrise or sunset. 34 to 42 today with a southeast wind, but that doesn't even tell the story of what's coming over the next couple of days. I'll talk about it with the Ultimate Satellite Solution 7-Day in just a few minutes. Justin.
All right, Dakota, we'll see you back in just a bit. Thank you very much. Some sad news to report as we continue about a local infant whose bout with a rare disease has come to an end. And the latest effort here in New York to crack down on illegal ammo sales. Stay with us. WNY News Now. We'll be right back.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
A local infant whose story rallied our community support after she was diagnosed with a very rare genetic disease has passed away. After suffering her first seizure earlier this year, baby Scarlett Bush was diagnosed with Zellweger syndrome, also known as ZS, a genetic disorder found in newborns that severely impacts her nerves and metabolism. The condition caused poor muscle tone, seizures, and a shortened life expectancy. We met Scarlett and her parents, Eric Webster and Dane Bush, over the summer as they rallied for the community support to help their daughter, known to her loved ones as Letty. Well, since the baby's passing overnight, a GoFundMe page has been now launched to help cover funeral expenses. A link on how you can help posted now at WNYNewsNow.com. Well, legislation recently signed into law will make it easier for Pennsylvanians to test substances for fentanyl. Previously, test strips to detect fentanyl for personal use were considered drug paraphernalia, but as Brendan Scanlon reports, a strong bipartisan effort in Harrisburg has now changed that.
As fentanyl seizures increase in Pennsylvania, so do fatal drug overdoses. Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs Secretary Jen Smith says about 5,300 Pennsylvanians are losing their lives to drug overdoses each year.
That's a lot of people. That's too many people. And so there are lots of strategies that we have to employ to help combat that.
Strategies with the primary goal of keeping Pennsylvanians alive,
so that we then have the opportunity to engage them in other types of supportive services.
Smith says it's important to expand access to tools like naloxone, but that it's equally important to expand the toolbox with things like fentanyl test strips.
And that's so important because our drug supply today is very often not one substance. It will contain multiple substances.
Once classified as drug paraphernalia, fentanyl test strips are now decriminalized thanks to legislation by State Representative Jim Struzzi and a signature by Governor Tom Wolf.
Something as simple as removing fentanyl test strips from the definition of drug paraphernalia can save a life, then I think we needed to do that.
Test strips indicate the presence of fentanyl in liquid and solid substances and can be life-saving, especially for an unsuspecting user who's never been exposed. Struzzi says it can also provide a fighting chance at recovery.
To me, it's not just about saving lives. It's about getting people into recovery, getting them back to a good quality of life.
He says fentanyl is eliminating second chances for too many Pennsylvanians and believes everyone deserves the opportunity to breathe another day.
You know, you make one mistake and it costs you your life. And we simply, if we have a mechanism to prevent that, then we need to do everything we can to give people that second chance at breathing another day.
In Harrisburg, Brendan Scanlon reporting.
6 months ago, on May 14th, an 18-year-old gunman from Broome County, New York, carried out a racially motivated shooting at the Tops grocery store in Buffalo, claiming the lives of 10 black people and injuring 18 others. Well, on Monday, families of those victims are still hurting from the loss of their loved ones, and they gathered with Governor Kathy Hochul, who visited Buffalo to highlight the anniversary while also making an announcement about economic development in the area. The governor says that New Yorkers are strong and that they have and will continue to rise through the aftermath of this tragedy.
Because we came together as one after this tragedy, it won't define us forever. But people know to look at this time and say how we came through what has to be so uniquely known as the Buffalo Way.
In July of 2022, the gunman was indicted by a federal grand jury on 27 counts, including 14 hate crimes and 13 firearm offenses. He faces the death penalty or life in prison if convicted at the federal level. He's also been indicted on state domestic terrorism and hate crime charges and has pled not guilty to all of the charges lodged. The state's top prosecutor is cracking down on online ammunition sellers who are, quote, illegally shipping ammo to New York residents and failing to keep records of these sales. An investigation by Attorney General Letitia James's office found that 39 ammunition sellers have been shipping ammo directly to New York residents in violation of the state's SAFE Act, which prohibits direct online ammo sales to New Yorkers. AG James sent cease and desist orders to these sellers demanding that they stop shipping ammo directly to New York and warned them of serious legal consequences if they continue to violate the law. New York's SAFE Act requires all ammunition sales to be conducted in person between a licensed firearms dealer or registered seller of ammunition and a customer. Well, coming up next, the latest in a criminal probe against a close ally to former President Donald Trump. And later, we're continuing our series from Ukraine as we take a look at how a local company in our region is trying to help rebuild the nation. But first, when we come back, Dakota joins us once again with a full look at our weather forecast and more on this looming snowstorm that could come our way in the next couple of days.
When severe weather breaks, one team has you covered, tracking the storms as they happen. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights,
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down.
slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger,
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
15-year-old Yadiel Diaz was subject to a public humiliation stunt by a fellow student in an act of violence and bullying. Now Yadiel's mother, Raquel, has had enough.
Officials are trying to work with the county's homeless coalition to help support the homeless population locally. There are also plans in the works to build 2 new shelters.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way. No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Fast, accurate, and everyday. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back, folks, and let's take a look at the temperatures through the month. And we finally added a couple below average days to the month. Have you noticed? Yesterday, as we mentioned, the high was only 33. So our average temperature for the month now, 49.9 degrees. That's above normal by about 8 degrees. And we are running almost 9 degrees above normal for the entire fall season dating from September 1st. That's when we keep weather records for the fall season. Also, don't forget the National Weather Service in Buffalo has storm spotter training coming up tonight in Mayville at 7 o'clock. And this is a winter time session. We have talked about this throughout the week, that this is a winter session that's going to focus on winter weather, such as lake effect snow, winter storms, ice, and things like that. So it's highly encouraged that you go to this. To register, go to weather.gov/BUF/Skywarn. Free to attend, free to register. We highly encourage that. As we take a look at the current conditions outside right now, kind of cloudy out there right now. And the current temperature as of noon hour is 32 degrees. We have a southeast wind of 17. The wind gust is at 23, and it makes it feel more like 21 degrees out there. Man, it's chilly out there today. But the next weather maker really is going to be this snow that is coming. The National Weather Service has issued a winter storm watch for basically all of the southern tier, and also includes the Buffalo metro area, but the Buffalo metro area one is for the weekend. Ours starts tomorrow night and runs through Thursday night, as bands of lake effect snow are going to be setting up. So here's the impacts for you in terms of what we're looking at. This is mainly going to be a main snowfall event. Some blowing snow could be possible. We're looking at wind gusts maybe around 30 to 35 miles an hour at times. So that might snarl travel just a little bit through Thursday night. So keep that in mind for the commute for tomorrow. So let's take a look at the newest run of Future Scan here, if it will come up. There it is. So there's the newest run of Future Scan. Moving on through for you, showing you that we're going to see some rain and snow showers developing through the afternoon today. And then as we go into Thursday, we're ultimately going to see a few more. We're going to see the lake effect snow continuing from Wednesday night going into Thursday. And understand, the snow on Wednesday night, Thursday could really be heavy at times. And so in terms of the snowfall, what are we looking at here? Well, this is just one computer model estimate, but I think this gives us a good idea of what we're looking at. We could be looking at about upwards of 6 to 9 inches, mainly across the hillier terrain. Some spots could get close to 10 inches. So understand, this is going to be a significant snowfall. So bring out the shovels. I don't think anybody will need the plows, but you'll definitely need these shovels at times. Now, how about the future? That's 7 days, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. So rain and snow continues on Wednesday. We highlight Thursday in red because of the heavy lake effect snow potential. Snow continues into Friday. Look at the temperatures go down into the 20s for the weekend. We are going to see some of that lake effect snow over the weekend, but Justin, it looks like the heaviest amounts of the snow for now is going to stay to our north over the weekend.
Yeah, certainly give us a little bit of a break after we get through Thursday. Dakota, thank you very much. Well, now let's get some headlines from around the nation. And Rudy Giuliani will not face federal charges after a foreign lobbying probe. The more than 3-year-long federal investigation into his activities in Ukraine is now coming to a close. Federal prosecutors have decided not to press charges against Donald Trump's former attorney. They have asked a judge to terminate the special master appointed to oversee a review of documents the FBI seized from his home last April. The government was looking into whether Giuliani violated foreign lobbying laws when he sought the ouster of the U.S. ambassador to Ukraine. He also urged Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden and his son Hunter. Giuliani's attorney called the decision to not prosecute his client, quote, wrongful, long-expected news. Well, it's been a rough few months for some of the biggest names in Silicon Valley. So rough, Forbes might need to keep revising its list of the world's richest people. Amy Kiley looks at who might be slipping.
We're seeing literally the unfolding or the implosion of an individual here. Some U.S. tech titans could be moving down the world's richest people list. Elon Musk holds the top spot on the Forbes ranking. He's expected to testify in court this week about his Tesla compensation package. It's worth more than $50 billion, analyst.
I wouldn't be surprised. Punchbowl here.
Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is the world's fourth richest person.
We're building the capacity to be able to give away this money.
Just yesterday, he said he'd donate most of his wealth during his lifetime. He stepped down as Amazon CEO last year and now leads the Bezos Earth Fund.
It's a 10-year commitment to work on these really big problems that we have on sustainability and conservation and restoration.
Finally, last month, Meta reported a 50% drop in its quarterly profits. Forbes reported in September Mark Zuckerberg fell off its list of the 10 richest people in the U.S., let alone the world. All three men predict tougher times ahead for the economy.
If we're not in a recession right now, we're likely to be in one very soon.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Meanwhile, the companies of the three men founded are laying off thousands of employees. Most of them don't have spare billions to fall back on. According to a new report, survival rates for lung cancer are on the rise here in the U.S., but more work remains to be done. The 5-year lung cancer survival rate increased from 21% in 2014 to 25% in 2018. Experts call that remarkable progress, but it's still the nation's leading cause of cancer death. In communities of color, the 5-year survival rate is much lower, only at 20%. That's according to the 2022 State of Lung Cancer Report, which was published Tuesday by the American Lung Cancer Association. Cases fell 11% nationwide from 2014 to 18 in 2021. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force expanded screening recommendations for lung cancer. It's now recommended for anyone 50 to 80 years old who smoked a pack a day for 20 years or 2 packs a day for 10 years, or anyone who currently smokes and has quit in the last 15 years. Well, coming up next, our coverage from Ukraine continues as we're taking a look at a company here in our region who's helping to rebuild that country. Stay with us.
When severe weather breaks, one team has you covered, tracking the storms as they happen. Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
Our coverage of stories from Ukraine continues. Our team has traveled to an important port city in Poland. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp and WNY's Nick Ratrani explains why they're making a pit stop in Poland before heading into Ukraine.
We traveled to Gdansk, Poland, and we're here because a local Erie, Pennsylvania company, Logistics Plus, they're going to be opening up another office here, and really their main reason for doing that is to help rebuild Ukraine.
And their office said that this city, the city of Gdansk in Poland, is a major port city for the country, and because of that, that will help them move equipment into Ukraine easier. And this is what they had to say when we spoke to them about that.
We expect to be able to support our Ukrainian neighbors with the rebuilding. That's the main purpose of putting the offices here now. We feel like eventually this conflict is going to end, and when it does, we want to be in a good position to be able to help right away.
Now, their office says that they're going to be focusing on those large cargoes, those project cargoes, just like what Nick just said, really just kind of helping make sure those large pieces are going to get to Poland and then again onto Ukraine.
And we're going to have that full story coming up soon. Also, in the coming days, we're going to be in Ukraine and we're going to be sharing more stories from there for you. But for now, reporting from Poland, I'm Nick Quatrini.
And I'm Rachel Knapp. Back to you.
All right, thank you both. Our crew, as they mentioned, is now headed into Poland and in Poland to meet up with their Ukrainian translator before they eventually make their way into Ukraine itself. Certainly so important stories to tell. That is it for us today. We'll leave you with this live look over Lakeside Park in Mayville. Have a great day.